You're watching BR24 live, covering this year's Munich Security Conference, and joining me now once again is Nico Lange, Senior Fellow with the Munich Security Conference, live on the ground. This has been a quite intense morning. Let's start off things with talking about what Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz was saying. He made it clear that Germany will spend 2% on defense according to the NATO treaty this year and every year in the 20s and the 30s and forever, basically. And he also urged other European countries to support Ukraine, like the United States, for example, do. Is that the strong statement Ukraine has been waiting for?
It was a short and pregnant speech by the Chancellor, but it is an interesting contrast. I mean, on the one hand, Germany is really doing a lot. It became one of the lead nations in helping Ukraine, especially now that things are difficult in the United States. And at the same time, this is not translating into a fiery speech that is mobilizing also support from other Europeans. And the contrast with the two speeches we saw today, German Chancellor Scholz and Ukrainian President Zelensky, could not have been bigger.
What kind of message, what kind of symbol is it that Zelensky is here in person and not via satellite or a video message?
I think we have seen the central moment of the conference. This is extremely important for him, not only to address the auditorium, but also to engage, for example, with the US senators, which he will be doing shortly here in a more private meeting, and to report from Ukraine what the situation is, to talk about his vision. And it was a little bit a moment of truth when Zelensky said, I think, what all the Western leaders should have said since yesterday, when he said, this is the year where we should restore the rules-based world order. And somehow it looks like Zelensky is talking bravery and talking courage into Western leaders with his appearance here.
At the end of his speech, Zelensky said, don't ask, when will this war end? Ask yourself why Putin is still able to continue it. Do you have maybe an answer to that question? He arose at the end of his speech.
I think Zelensky knows that we all know the answer. The answer is that many Western partners of Ukraine are hesitant. They are not doing what is possible, and they are not doing it in the speed that is necessary. And I think it was very important to hear this from him, and you could see it from the reaction in the crowd that this has an effect. So this was I think, important contribution by the Ukrainian president. And you could feel also the aftermath just a few minutes ago when Senator Rickett was booed for comparing the war in Ukraine with the situation at the southern US border. So I think clearly now Ukraine is on the top of the agenda and in everybody's minds here at Munich Security Conference.
Zelensky also made it clear, and he said it, if Europe doesn't act now, Putin will make the next years horrible, to paraphrase it a little bit. In an interview, Putin himself said he won't invade Poland or the Baltics. But what is the Russian president really up to?
Putin is lying, everybody knows that, everybody here knows that. And much of the discussions here are also around the question not only how to support Ukraine but how to protect Europe better, especially on the backdrop of the situation in the United States. And nobody here has any doubt that if Putin is not stopped, that he would continue, and nobody is trusting any word that Vladimir Putin says.
What is Ukraine's future regarding the European Union and NATO membership?
Well, when it comes to European Union, we will maybe hear tomorrow, because Sunday is the classic European Union Day at Munich Security Conference. For Ukraine, it's clear the Ukrainians are committed to integrate into the European Union. They are a candidate. They will do the necessary steps to become a member. President Zelensky addressed today that Ukraine wants to be a member of NATO, and that he thinks that Ukraine is now fighting itself into NATO, so to speak. He knows that not all countries are convinced yet, and it seems that this was the first step in a road leading to Washington summit in summer this year, where the Ukrainian president, the Ukrainians will try to convince partners that invitation to NATO is the right step for Ukraine.
NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg also said it's a lot about fighting fatigue. So, and also he urged Senator Ricketts that the United States have to deliver what they have promised Ukraine. But can you sense a feeling of the West getting tired? What is your experience live on the ground at the MSC?
Well, there was a very serious mood yesterday and today. Maybe some questions whether we can do it, how to do it, but no desperation and the clear commitment. And especially the many experts that are here, they are trying to put pressure on policymakers to move further. And regarding Ukraine, we got signals with the 2 new agreements with Germany and France. Other countries will follow, and I think we will have more clear messages today. We will also have an international working group meeting on Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic integration. So I do not sense fatigue, but I really sense seriousness and soberness. And maybe this is a healthy process. Many things that we tried to do did not work out yet. We have to do more. This is a huge effort. I think this is the mood that we have here right now.
Russia hasn't been invited to the Munich Security Conference again, but do you think Putin or some of his fellows are watching and listening to what has been said today?
They are surely following everything that is going on. They got a clear message yesterday when we, as Munich Security Conference, decided to put Yulia Navalny on the main stage. And I think what she said yesterday, that Putin will be responsible for what he did to the Russian people, to her family, but also to the Ukrainians and to all of Europe. I think that was a global message that was also received, of course, in Moscow. I sometimes believe there could be more of an understanding to give the right resolve and the right message to Vladimir Putin. But there will be more speakers today. Kaja Kallas is speaking right now. We will hear from others, and I'm sure that the clear messages will also be received in the Kremlin.
Thank you again for your time. Nico Lange, Senior Fellow with the Munich Security Conference. We'll see you again this afternoon, or this evening, better said. Thanks for now. And now, coming up next is a panel discussion, Europe's finest hour, building a defense union in challenging times, with, among others, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission. And we'll be right back after this.